Everybody. Hello. Welcome back to Corsace Closed 2023. We have our second match of this beautiful Sunday. Match 2 out of 3 this weekend. And this match is going to be a good one between Crystal and Enri. Two really good players. And both really well-rounded. So I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of out-of-nowhere picks they're going to go for. I'm hyped for this match. I'm Sad Shiba. I'm joined for the first time by the wonderful Miles.
Hi Shiba. This is definitely going to be a great match here in Losers Round 1. Another Losers Round 1 match. We've got Seed 15 Crystal up against Seed number 7 Enri. Both players losing their Round 1 matchups, hoping to make it to the semifinals by winning today. And yeah, you were mentioning the picks earlier. I think it's going to be a really difficult match to pick on paper, but both players definitely have their strengths, and we're going to shift to the stats screen right now. We can talk about those very quickly.
Yeah, I think both these guys are super well-rounded. I think they do have their distinguished strengths. I think Crystal is obviously quite well known for being really strong on the hard rock, and Enri being particularly strong on the hidden. But I think both these guys have a few kind of intertwining skill sets like the tech and the ult. I think those are going to be two very contested picks. I think speed is going to be one thing that Enri can take advantage of. I think Enri's been criminally underrated for a while on the speed, but I think recently, especially in Corsace Closed, he's made a name for himself to be much better on speed than people imagined. And I think that's going to be a leaning skill set against Crystal especially.
Yeah, Crystal, of course, being a very strong tournament player, I guess, in not mechanics. Like, he's one of the best in the game at precision, as you can see by that 7.73 stat, has been, like, nigh unbeatable on that skill set. But I'm sure Enri is going to take that into account with his bans. Probably going to ban that out, but if Enri bans out the precision, he's going to be leaving out one of the very difficult reading maps in this pool, be it Nomad 6 or Hidden 2. So obviously going to be a little game of chess that he has to play there, but for Crystal's bans, I think it's going to be very clearly some speed, like a Nomad 6, or not Nomad 6, a Nomad 5 or a DT2, maybe a Nomad 2 if he's not feeling that. We're just going to have to see.
Yeah, I think Crystal's mindset going into this is to either eliminate a significant weakness or kind of get rid of one of Enri's significant strengths. And I think speed is one of the most outlying disadvantages that you'd probably have in favor of Crystal. So getting rid of that DT2 straight away, I think it's safe to say we know what he's going for. He wants to get rid of that speed because Enri not only looking very strong, but Crystal not being too well known for being strong on that heavy speed mechanics, heavy double time mechanics, more just well-rounded in the less mechanics-heavy maps where he really shine. And Enri immediately eliminating one of Crystal's strongest maps, I could imagine, in Hard Rock 1.
Banning out Hard Rock 1 means that Enri is going to be willing to go into the reading picks against Crystal, and it's actually going to be Crystal banning out the Hidden 2. That is definitely unexpected, I feel. Reading ban from Crystal over a speed map, that's interesting to say the least, but we're going to be getting into Enri's last ban here. See if he decides to ban out another HR. HR2 is still open.
Hard Rock 2 is still available, but Enri chooses to get rid of the Hard Rock 3 instead. This one's a bit more on the techie side, still being about CS 5.2, kind of a regular Hard Rock in terms of the circle size, but the mapping's a bit different. This one's very much tech heavy with lots of slide rain patterns and cut streams, and maybe Enri doesn't want to deal with that, despite really on paper, Enri being really good on tech. I think I'm a little bit surprised by this pick, because I think Hard Rock 2 would have been a much better option. But yeah, the Hidden 2 as well from Crystal. Really surprising ban. I was expecting to instantly eliminate the Nomad 5, but Nomad 6 is going to be first picked for Enri.
Okay, I did not expect this. So some insider info that maybe not supposed to share. Enri posted a screenshot with 46k on this Nomad 6 right before this lobby in a channel in the Corsace server. So maybe perhaps baiting us all by expecting him to not pick this map and then first picking Silver Temple into a player like Crystal. That is so gutsy. There's still speed left in this map pool. But gonna be going for the Nomad 6 here. Devious Panda's Silver Temple on the AR6 edit. This map originated in COE 2022 in that tournament. And this map features many very difficult overlapping patterns, lots of pattern reading.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Enri's definitely taking the time to practice this map. I think he's very confident. And despite reading kind of, I think Enri is capable of being strong on the reading, but I think this is a little bit of a dangerous pick to go into Crystal, especially if Crystal has prepared for this, because Crystal is kind of strong on the kind of hidden reading heavy gimmick. I think this is probably a very gimmicky map that could lean into Crystal's strengths, but Crystal isn't kind of too well known for being too strong on the reading. I think this is still more than a capable map though. But so far we see both breaks from both players. But Enri does take the lead a little bit in terms of the accuracy in the early combo.
Yeah, and I mean, when both players drop combo early, it's really going to be the player with better accuracy who takes the lead. And as we can see right now, Enri with 10% better accuracy is going to be giving him a very considerable lead out of the first third of the map. And Enri has also reestablished his foothold with the combo up at 220. Going to be actually taking a monstrous lead in both accuracy and combo. We're going to see how he fares into the triangle section.
This is one of the first hard parts of the map. You can see constant overlaps and constant weird jumps with triples and perfect stacks. This is really, really awkward if you're not prepared and practiced for. But Enri continues to look really, really strong on this stage, hitting everything with perfect accuracy as well. Crystal does drop. So that's another combo reset here for Crystal. Enri does drop, but the lead is really, really far ahead going into this last third of the map. This map is brutal, might add. This is AR6 heavy reading with lots of perfect stacks as you've already seen. And yeah, this is just a stupid, hard map. But Enri's doing really good.
Enri baited us. I mean, he posted the C rank in the participants channel, and he is just going absolute god mode here, up above 300k into the last quarter. He is looking to have zero trouble with some of these patterns, finding some earlier breaks, but this is already going to be one of the best scores on this map we've seen this weekend. While Crystal, I mean, down at 100k, not the best score on this map. Maybe could have practiced a little more, but also when Enri is doing this in the ending, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. He is FCing this ending. What is that score from Enri?
450k from Enri. Brilliant score on a map like this. Really, really brutal, but you can tell Enri's practice for this. Despite this map being really, really, really reading heavy and kind of brutal overall, this is kind of partially a definition of a practice difference. You can tell that Enri's practice for this because you can tell how comfortable he is on these really weird patterns that on a sight read, you would not be able to understand. We saw that in the previous match between Karcher and Demonical. We saw kind of a definition of that where Karcher was struggling to read it because he didn't really practice it, I believe. It was a bit of a struggle. And Crystal, despite seemingly seeing to have maybe practiced this a little bit more, clearly shows his discomfort on the reading. And I think the hidden two band seems a little bit more understandable now. But we're seeing the double time 3 here from Crystal. I think this one's really hotly contested.
I also think this is going to be contested, but I think similarly to the last pick, I think we're going to be surprised at Crystal's strength on this map being sort of this like aim control alt style where honestly I would put it in the center between an alt pick and an aim pick. It's like if DT1 is going to be aim and speed, this is going to be aim and alt in your DT3. And both of those skill sets are things that Crystal can be exceptionally strong on, and he can definitely read this AR, I think.
This double time 3 is pretty alt heavy. A little bit, very snap aimy, I could say. Banger tune, might I add, as well. Tyler, the creator. Love this guy. Banger tune. But yeah, this is also AR 10.3, so the high AR reading is going to be a factor in this. And seeing as Crystal's picked this, he definitely feels comfortable, definitely practice this. And this does lean very much into his skill sets. You can see a really good hybrid of snap and flow aim, but definitely more on the snap aim side with some frightening sliders to boot. An early break here from Crystal is going to give Enri the early lead, but there's bound to be a few breaks. This map is crazy.
Yeah, map is less than 2 minutes though, so every break is really going to matter, especially when your opponent is still FCing. Accuracies are about equal, but Enri still holding on to the FC, going to be able to take an early lead on this pick. It's really going to depend on who finds that next break though, because we are approaching the very dangerous middle section of the map, where if you find that break, your score really gets capped.
The halfway mark of any map with score v2 is extremely dangerous. Miss on the exact hard part, and your score is cut in half entirely. You lose the potential to outshine over 500k, and that's a really dangerous territory to be, especially seeing where Enri is right now. If Enri is to break, this is really detrimental. This is a serious miss. But so far, both these players seem really good. That early break from Crystal could bite him, considering Enri continues to hold on to this FC with 97 accuracy as well. Both these players looking relatively comfortable. It's just that early break. We'll be going into another tough section here where we could see some more breaks. Repeat slider jump section, gets hit by both players. And we're still seeing a little bit of axe drops here. A little axe drop from Enri, a little drop from Crystal here and there. Both players are dropping axe, but no combo. Both players continue to hold on, and we're not seeing any drops just yet. We're going to the final quarter, and neither player is backing down. This is a serious situation here for Crystal now. The score is really gaining now in favor of Enri. I don't know if Crystal has got enough time. Enri holds on to the FC, going up to 800k now, and I think it's too little too late. Crystal cannot extend any further. The accuracy drops along with that early miss is going to be his downfall, and Enri FC's the map.
What is this matchup? The miss in the beginning for Crystal, along with his lower accuracy, just sealing it from the start. Who would have thunk that Enri would be able to FC this with almost 97%? This might be one of the best scores on this map we've seen this weekend. But an FC on this, just absolutely unreal. Gonna be taking an early breakpoint here against Crystal, going up 2-0.
That is a tough loss for Crystal. I think that early miss was really serious. I think even then it would have been quite close because, you know, even if Crystal don't miss, Enri would have definitely won. The accuracy is too far ahead. The comfort clearly seems to be in Enri's favor. Crystal maybe thought that he could take the advantage with the ult strengths, but Enri just looked so much more comfortable, so much more powerful. And that does lead to a breakpoint, and Enri's got a chance to make this 3-0 with his next option. What do you think is going to go for here, Miles?
All I'm thinking is that there's still speed in this pool, and Enri is going to rush on right into it with the Nomad 5 here. Just Nomia, our Fergus custom. This is kind of an interesting custom speed map, you know, because it's AR 9.3, so it kind of ends up being kind of this dead genre of speed that we haven't really seen since what I like to think is Blue Dragon's map of Forgotten back in OWC 2017. Of this just like low AR, high BPM, finger control, stamina, that just throws a lot of different skill sets at you that you never really see together. But like the density speed, I think is really going to favor Enri here.
Yeah, this is a very old style of Nomad 5. You haven't seen this kind of style in a very long time. Most Nomad 5s you associate have a little bit more bursty, a lot more high velocity, and a lot higher AR. But this one being AR 9.3, and with the density of this map that it has, this is a little bit on the reading side as well. We've seen quite a few players struggle to actually read this because of how many notes there are on the screen. This is also 4.5 minutes long, very long, and consistency is going to be a bit of an issue here. But Enri, knowingly picking into the speed, knowing that this is his strength against a weakness from Crystal, it's going to be a pretty promising, it was seemingly on paper, promising win here for Enri. But you never know. This is a little bit on the awkward side, with a lot of awkward readings we already talked about being AR 9.3 and having it be so dense. There could be an upset here, but on paper, I think Enri's got this in the bag as long as there's no major fumbles.
Yeah, and I mean, you can already see the difference in comfort by these two players on this map. Crystal already dropping so much accuracy, already down at 88 in just the beginning patterns of this speed map. Meanwhile, Enri still up at 98. I think Enri's strength on reading actually is going to give him a boon on this map, and you can already see Crystal starting to struggle. The drops are coming in from Crystal, and the score from Enri already 3 times that of Crystal's.
Enri already tripling his score in front of Crystal. Crystal notably struggling here with the 85% accuracy, whereas Enri looks so good. 97 does drop from the 98 earlier on, but the FC is still very powerful here. Already a quarter of the way through the map, and Enri refuses to drop his combo. Whereas Crystal, with that early miss, continuing to hold on to this huge deficit. And unless something magical happens where we see an Enri drop and Crystal FC the rest of the map, I really think this is already kind of in the bag for Enri. He's got such an incredible lead, and Crystal just cannot seem to keep up with the speed.
Yeah, I think at this point it's already a little bit of a lost cause for Crystal. Maybe at this point, lose your focus a little bit, start thinking about your next pick. There's still a lot of maps in this pool I think that Crystal can manage to win. There's still, I think, an HR2 remaining, which is something I think Crystal should have a definitive advantage on. But when Enri is about to consolidate his breakpoint already, you're already in a sticky situation. Crystal already going to be put in the hot seat. With a consolidated breakpoint, Enri only needs to win his own picks to win this match.
I mean, look at Enri go. Not only is he in such a great position to win this map, but his score is really good. Quite a few players have struggled on this, but Enri seems completely unfazed. As you mentioned, the strength that Enri has in the reading department has helped him a little bit. He's able to process the density a lot easier, and you can tell with not only the FC, but with the really solid accuracy, considering the fact that this is 260 BPM.
This just looks so strong for Enri. I mean, we've seen other speed players struggle on this pick. I think notably Chaconi getting quite a low score on this pick, I think mostly due to the AR, but I think this is just a testament to really how well-rounded Enri is, because, you know, when do you really see a reading Nomad 6 pick instantly into a Nomad 5? Like, this guy can play reading, he can play speed, and now it looks like he's able to play both. Like, look at this. 500k already, 98.5%. Enri is looking to get a top score on this.
He has adjusted so well. And this is, again, proof that Enri is so good on speed. Maybe not Nidoric level, but still really impressive. Enough to outshine quite a few of the high skill cap players we have in this tournament. He's got some crazy potential in the coming matches that he's going to have if he takes this against Crystal. But he's looking so good. He's on 2,000 combo miles. This map is really long, you know. You have to have some serious consistency, but he drops on a slow section. Unfortunate miss, but honestly, considering Crystal is struggling to get up to 100k, I think this is already way too far gone. But Enri with a phenomenal score. I believe this is the highest score we've seen in Corsace Closed this week. This is the highest number 5 score, I believe, which is just unreal.
And this should be great for Enri's confidence. I know Enri was really disappointed in his loss to Chaconi, but now going up 3-0 against a player like Crystal, setting scores like this, I'm sure Enri should definitely feel good about the outcome of this match the way it is currently going.
One miss, and it was on nothing as well. It was basically an FC.
Nerves getting to him, it looks like. But now pick goes back to Crystal. He's going to have the opportunity to get on the board here, and I think when you're down 3-0, you really need to get on the board with this pick. And I mean, I feel like the choice here is obvious. There's still an HR2 up. He's going to have to go for it. And there he goes. Canverse. The very awkward flow aim control map. Canverse, custom by Ancient. We've seen a lot of people really struggle on this map. Scores on this have been definitely on the lower side when it comes to average scores this week. But I think for a player like Crystal, this really overlaps with his greatest strengths. And I think this should be where he gets on the board against Enri. But with how Enri is playing, nothing is going to be guaranteed.
In this stage, you really need to get swinging momentum. Enri being 3-0 up, taking a break point, you have to pick something that you can get your point on the board, get your swinging momentum, get you that swinging confidence. And Hard Rock 2 is probably the best map for Crystal. If there were protects in this tournament, Hard Rock 2 or Hard Rock 1 would be the maps that Crystal would probably protect. So it's safe to say that this is probably his strongest map in this pool, and this is the best chance for him to get the momentum swinging back. If Enri wins this is doomed. I don't think it is, though. I think Crystal does get this. He's so good on the precision. He's proven so many times that he is one of the best tournament Hard Rock players we've seen, just period. And this, once again, is a map with consistency involved. This is 4 minutes and 40 seconds long. CS 6.76, kind of flow aim heavy, very flow aim heavy ult with some really frightening ult patterns that kind of cut into one another. It's a frightening map, but for someone like Crystal, who's so well versed on the precision, but also really good on ult in general, I think this is kind of a match made in heaven for Crystal. I think this is a great map for him to win, and I think this is a good start for him to get a point on the board. But here we go. We're going into the Hard Rock 2. And you can already see these really weird cuts that can trip people up. We already see an early miss here from Enri. Again, very early into the map. This map's 4 minutes and 40 seconds long, extremely long. Consistency is very favored if you want to do well on this map. But Crystal's doing so good so far. Early miss from Enri going to give Crystal that early advantage.
You mentioned consistency. When it comes to precision consistency, there aren't many players in this game better than Crystal. I mean, back in OWC, I remember him FCing the Free Mod 2 and that with Hard Rock twice in a row. And this guy on a map like this, I'm sure is just going to be eating it up. But Enri right now is still within striking distance, especially when Crystal finds the break, that 300 combo going down, and now Enri suddenly with a score lead once again, with the accuracy in tow as well. Going to be able to take a very big lead going into this chorus section, especially as Crystal drops one more time. Enri is going to be running away from this already.
The initial break and over-aim from Crystal, just overgoing just a little bit, is going to lead to a huge deficit in this first quarter. Enri still holding on to the combo despite that early miss. Looking relatively comfortable. He almost under-aims that little flow-aim section, but still holds on to his combo and is still leading. He's even winning on the accuracy department, Miles. He's looking pretty good right now, despite this kind of being a Crystal favored map. That early miss, though, doesn't seem to be phasing Crystal. He's recovered just a little bit going up to 250, and as long as his throwing cut section doesn't trip him up, he does still have a little room to come back. We're close to the halfway mark, and if Enri is to miss around here, if not a little later, this could be a chance for Crystal to flip. But so far, Enri's winning by about 110k, 120k. So it's a good lead here for Enri, but there's still a little bit of time for Crystal to come back. This map, as we already mentioned, 4 minutes, 40 seconds long. Plenty of time for Crystal to come back. But at the very moment, Enri's holding strong to his hold, going past the halfway mark. This is looking really good for Enri so far.
I did not expect Enri to be able to pull out this kind of combo on this map, honestly. We have seen some people who first pick Precision get extremely low scores on this, and Enri is up approaching 1k combo. I'll be honest, I don't recall if we've seen anyone reach this level of combo on this map, especially as Crystal finding the drop. Enri is looking to run away with yet another of Crystal's picks. 200k in the lead already and holding on to that 1k combo reverse choke. This is so unreal from Enri.
This is disaster for Crystal. He's lost one of his strongest picks, if not the strongest pick he's got in the pool. But Enri, despite missing, has got an incredibly dominant start. Getting basically FCing the map for 3/4 of it, going over 1k combo. Insanely dominant start, going up to 550k and counting. And the break comes through. Crystal sees it all. It's an unfortunate situation, and I don't think Crystal has enough time, especially on that drop. Enri taking the combo advantage once again, keeping Crystal at bay from getting any chance of gaining. And I think Crystal's fallen apart a little bit here. Another miss, unfortunately. I think that sealed it for this map. Enri taking a brilliant performance into a breakpoint against one of, if not one of the definitely one of the strongest hard rock precision players in the wild. This is a crazy upset pick here for Enri, but it's a great situation for him. He's 4-0 up now. He doesn't even have to win all of his picks. He just has to win one secure tiebreaker. Crystal's got a lot of climbing to do, and this is a really rough start. Losing the pick that would be considered your momentum starter is really detrimental to your chances of winning this. But Enri, with the upset pick, 620k on this Hard Rock 2 is pretty damn huge. And it's a great, great start for Enri. 4-0.
Yeah, this is so unreal from Enri. I think this is definitely one of the top 3 scores on this map from this weekend, getting 627k on this. I feel like the average on this in lobby has been somewhere floating around 330k. But, you know, getting like almost double that in the lobby has got to be great for your confidence. Enri now winning 4 points in a row. Crystal yet to get on the board, and Enri's next pick going to be able to force tiebreaker, and there is still speed remaining in this pool as well. If you count that Nomad 2 stamina pick, definitely overlaps with Enri's strength over one of Crystal's weaknesses. So Enri definitely going to have the chance to force the tiebreaker here already, and he's going to do it picking Nomad 2, it looks like.
He is going to go for the Nomad 2 mechanics. Another tapping heavy map. This is the OWC 2022 Grand Finals Nomad 2. So if this song is familiar, you know where it's from. This is 210 BPM constant streams. Some being high spacing, some being tight flow aim. But regardless, this is a tough mechanics tapping map, tough flow aim, and something that's definitely up Enri's alley in terms of the tapping. But this map is pretty crazy. This map is tough, this map is fast, this map is stupidly hard for stamina. And there is a stupid final section towards the end as well, which I'm looking forward to seeing whether Enri or Crystal can hold on to it, because we have seen one player in particular do really well on this, and it was Chaconi. I think it was on Saturday or Friday. He played really well on this normal 2. This was a notable play that he got against, I believe it was Emmerich, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
He did really, really good on this normal 2. I think that's an outlying performance. Maybe we'll see Enri replicate it. He's looking so good this match so far, Miles. And Crystal, you can't help but worry for him. Enri has taken 2 of his picks, one of which being that surefire momentum starter. Mento is a serious thing for Crystal at the moment. And it's this is now the test to see if Crystal can maybe come back with an upset pick of his own. But here we go. We're going into the number 2.
And I believe the standard on this map is going to be Malashevsky, who FC'd with 99.7.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
wow.
That is definitely the standard for that. And it looks like Enri's going to be finding the early breaks on this one, though. Crystal finally going to have an accuracy and combo lead to start out this pick. Going to be able to run that as long as his stamina can hold on, which is what I worry for on this pick. And he does find the slider break. That combo lead is going to swing all the way back in favor of Enri as this accuracy is recovered as well. Going to be able to take the lead back once more. But finding more breaks is Enri, and Crystal is going to find a surprising lead on this Nomad 2 going into the next quarter.
We're seeing lots of back and forth breaks here from both of these players. Advantages being swung back and forth. At the very moment, it's Crystal with the lead, but it could easily swing back in Enri's favor in this first half. Both of these players seemingly struggling a little bit to hold a substantial combo, but Crystal seems to have got a recovery. Enri drops. That's big for Crystal. A little bit of a slow session here going into this first half. As long as he holds further on, he's got a little bit. He's going to be able to gain his advantage a bit. But here's where the flowing ramps up, and Crystal tricks on it. Enri back with the advantage now, and it's slowly going to flip into his favor. But this is where we see the flowing really tested. Lots of really, really tight streams, and Crystal's chain missing and dropping so much accuracy. It's an unfortunate situation. Enri just continues to push forward despite those early breaks at the start, and he's hitting all of these streams.
He's double tapping!
What? Oh my god!
Oh my goodness. Enri double tapping that or mashing or something, but it doesn't matter. He's holding on to the combo. Crystal holding on to his combo as well. Enri needs to continue to hold. Crystal finally finding the break. And what I thought honestly was going to be maybe a little bit more definitive of a pick for Enri. Gonna still go in his favor up at 300k. He has a 120k lead. And we're gonna see if he can hold this combo into the ending.
The ending here is brutal. It is terrifying. And we do see a drop there from Enri, but it's kind of exciting to see if he hits the final stream. It doesn't seem like he's going to be hitting it very much. Crystal's trying, but unfortunately we see multiple drops from both players. It's not going to be enough for Crystal. Enri takes the normal 2 and instantly, dominantly secures himself match point.
We've been here for 22 minutes. Enri already has 5 points. He's just looking so dominant so far in this matchup. Crystal yet to get anything going. We're going to see if he can finally get on the board with this next pick. But honestly, left in this map pool, I'm not sure exactly what he goes for. Maybe something like a Nomad 3 would suit him well.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for Crystal to pick for. Like, what do you really go for? Aside from your most notable strengths in hard, which already have been won by Enri, what do you really have? You can go for ult, but again, that's a strength from Enri. Go for tech, that's another strength from Enri. Leaning into hidden, you're not going to do that as Crystal. You are not going to pick into the hidden against someone like Enri, who's so comfortable, so strong on the hidden. You don't want to deal with that. It's literally a comfort mod for the guy. So yeah, Crystal's very limited for options here. His 2 other big Hard Rock picks have been banned. His Hard Rock 2 has been lost. He's in a dire situation right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to go for. Maybe the Nomad 1, maybe the Nomad 4 or Nomad 3. But it's a tough ask. You're not really sure what you want to go for here. You could go into ult or tech, but that's a risk you want to take against Enri. I'm not sure if you do. I think Nomad 1's probably the best option here for Crystal.
I disagree with that. I think Crystal would probably go for the hidden one over the Nomad 1 because although it is a strength for Enri, it is that aim control that Crystal is very good on, but it's going to be the Nomad 3 as mentioned. The aim control awkward ult. It's going to be what Crystal goes for here. Going to be staking his hopes on Reincarnation Apple, our AJ Mosca custom. And this map has just been brutal, claiming the lives of many players this weekend. It has lots of difficult patterns throughout the entire map. And many people have struggled to really find their foothold on this. I think if Crystal's going to have to stake his hopes on one map, I do believe that this is probably going to be the best one.
Crystal. He's got his back against the wall. Potentially what would be his final pick, Nomad 3. Reincarnation Apple. This is kind of widely regarded. I think many map haulers and staff in the map pool showcase consider this ult as Corsace ult.
Corsace ult!
Because it's of course, it's a little bit hybrid of snap and flowing, but it's a little bit on the awkward side. Is that a good way of describing it, Miles, you think?
Yeah, that's what I'd call it. And Corsace ult, I think it kind of originated with Dishonor, which was also in this map pool back in round of 16. So yeah, I wouldn't really call this a successor to that because they're both very obviously different types of maps, but still, I think kind of this genre of alt map being called Corsace ult by a lot of people, I've heard.
Here we go, though. Going into Nomad 3, Enri, 1 point away from an surefire victory. A very dominant one at that. He's hungry from that previous defeat against Draconi, and he wants revenge. And unfortunately, Crystal's standing in his way. But so far, so good for both these players going into the little intro sequence. We see both holes, an SS here for Enri. Instantly dropped now, as I mentioned it, of course. Love caster cursing.
I think the point of contention on this map really going to be the PI sections where the aim does start to ramp up, where the spacing does increase a lot. I think that's really where we're going to be expecting to see the breaks from these players, but Crystal unfortunately going to be finding the break on that bridge section. That doesn't fare well for his chances, especially as enri continues to hold on to that FC.
Unfortunate early misstep from Crystal. enri still holding on to magnificent accuracy as well, 99.3 and counting. Going into this first Ki, that early miss from Crystal is going to be really, really serious, especially if enri FCs this section here. He's going to have such a dominant score lead in this first half if enri FCs this section. But you can see that really, really dangerous flow aim. But enri hits it despite missing straight after. Crystal, though, still holding on. This is a great recovery here from Crystal, actually. This is a good opportunity for him to come back, especially if he finishes off FC in this final Ki, and he does. Crystal in the driver's seat to potentially overtake this and get a point on the board as long as he holds past this halfway mark. That early miss doesn't seem to have phased him. He's still building some phenomenal combo, and that miss from enri could be the first chance for him to get a point on the board.
Yeah, it seems finally Crystal has a real shot here to take this point in the match. Finally taking the score lead right now, flipping back in his favor due to those breaks from enri in that chorus. Also finding some chain breaks as well, which is what really gave Crystal this accuracy lead that he has really lacked throughout most of this match. Now above 99 is Crystal, and he's going to have to hold considerably into the next chorus and out-combo enri if he wants to really extend his lead, because enri has brought his combo back as well. Up above 400, he is looking to be in striking distance as long as Crystal manages to find the drop. But as of right now,
so dangerous. This Ki is so dangerous. A break from either player could really decide the fate of this match. If enri is to drop, though, and Crystal's to hold, this is a surefire win for Crystal. The lead does stay in favor of Crystal, and that's good if both players trade breaks, especially in this hard section. But both players hold Crystal with the hold that matters for him. This is the map that really, really needs to be won if he wants to have any hopes of winning this, a potential momentum starter. But we're going into the final Ki here. enri still holding on to really, really good combo, despite Crystal taking the lead. Crystal does break. Could it be traded by enri, though, into the next Ki? I don't know if enri has enough time to hold. He's got about 40k to overtake, but it's slowly climbing. He's building his combo a lot, and the score gap is slowly closing in. Can enri hold in this next Ki? It's going to finish the map straight after, and is slowly closing in the gap. Is enri going to hold towards the late stages? Yes, he does! And the flip comes through. Oh my gosh. What a comeback from enri. It looked so possible for Crystal, but that one break, and enri just holding strong, building up on 1000 combo of his own. That was a brilliant final map, but unfortunately, aside from that, it was such a dominant showing here for enri. Beautiful 6-0 victory.
enri stealing that last Nomad 3 right from under Crystal's nose. It looked like Crystal finally had a lead definitive enough to take a point home, but enri just with that sneaky little 800 combo in the ending, going to be stealing this pick back, winning it by about 50k. It's going to be a 6-0 sweeping of Crystal in what was a dominant showcase of enri's all-around skill. And he's going to be moving on to Losers Bracket Round 2. But unfortunately for Crystal, going to be going home in, I believe, 12th to 16th place, losing in Losers Round 1. But thank you so much for playing, Crystal. It was a blast watching you play.
Yeah, we had a couple good shines of greatness from Crystal in this match, especially, of course, that number 3 being the most notable. But it is unfortunate to see Crystal go, the Chinese tournament titan. A staple in tournament scenes. Unfortunately, just not finding his footing in this tournament. And enri, just such an amazing performance. Such a great example of how flexible he is. You know, on paper, you'd see enri as kind of that strong hidden tech player. That's kind of what most people knew him for. But it's such a good reassurance to see how flexible he is on this Hard Rock 2 and the course of speed. He really made sure people knew how great he was on speed now. And such a dominant victory for enri. Crystal did try and he made a great effort, but unfortunately that is the end of his Corsace Closed journey. It was a good run, but unfortunately it wasn't enough because enri's on a freight train and he's storming through the losers bracket.
Yep, enri's the freight train is moving straight for Whitecat right now, who lost this week, going to be moving down to Losers Round 2. enri versus Whitecat in Losers Round 2 just goes to show how stacked this tournament is. You have two insane tournament players, and one of them are going to be leaving next week. If you told me that this matchup was going to be in winners semis, I'm pretty sure most people would believe you. And we're going to be getting it right next here in Corsace Closed next week. But that's going to be it for the cast right now. I believe there's a few more matches today. After this, we have a matchup between Neneric and MCY4 at 15 UTC. Should be also a great match. Be sure to stick around for that. It's going to be in an hour and a half, 15 UTC. So be sure to stick around for that. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you all for watching. And thank you, Shiba, for casting this.
Hello. Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining me, Miles. It's been a great first cast. Had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the future casts. It was a great match, despite unfortunately being such a dominant scoreline. But that's going to be it. Why don't you do the honors of introing us out?
All right, yep. So thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and stay tuned for this 15 UTC matchup.